Hi, I'm Marie Carr with PwC, and I'm here with my colleagues Jamie Yoder and Anand Rao, and we've been talking about Beyond Insurance 2020 and some of the factors that are really causing disruption.
There are companies now, because you have very detailed information on very specific chronic diseases, the health insurance companies are using that data to come up with better drug formularies. And life insurance companies are looking at very specifically just underwriting life insurance for AIDS patients or diabetic patients, because they have far more data now, as you were saying, in terms of the connected self with all that data. So that changes.
Right, well, and importantly, in the prescriptive piece, it's not just knowing that may help you price it differently, but also how do you help inform so all parties essentially are working to improve the situation, right? And not just even on AIDS and diabetes and the edge, but you now see this with the interlink of sort of health and wealth, and passing that information on to say, given what you're trying to do, ultimately your retirement outcomes are heavily dependent. It's not just an ROI model when you turn 65, but more importantly, you're going to live a lot longer, but shocks that may happen early on or other activities that could happen to your health could affect it. How do I actually understand what the implications of that could be, and how do I prepare accordingly? Right, and that works both helping the advisors be more informed around how they share that information, but also making sure the customer understands how their actions today may affect their long-term benefits in a way that brings it closer to now.
And I think your point right there about the advisors, and tying back to what you were saying, Anand, really shows another way in which information and the decisions around it are reshaping distribution and even some of the points later about business model. Because now, what do people want? Well, as you said, in the health-wealth continuum, the distribution person now is coming in and adding value. In the commercial space or specialty risk, you're coming in and saying, what do people like me do? And how do I take my business, or how do I take my health to another level with that information? You can take the insights and really use your connection with your customer to be much more kind of progressive and informative.
So what we are seeing, I know things have been moving very fast in the analytics, big data space, and as you said, people are looking at prescriptive analytics, but there are things that are even beyond the prescriptive analytics, where you're trying to understand and the system is actually learning. And we often talk about, thing about insight platforms, having a consumer insight or an insurance insight platform where just like your transaction systems, you have these learning engines, if you like, which are there understanding the customer behavior, understanding each and every individual customer, the employers or businesses, the intermediaries, understanding their behavior across all channels, across all the things they do, from an economic perspective, from a market perspective. So you're essentially creating, if you like, a game or a sim city for financial services, if you like, so that you can explore what is the amount that I need for retirement. What happens if something happens to me or my spouse 2 years into my retirement? What happens if there is a 2008-like crisis? So you can actually play out those scenarios, and that gives you better information, so much more evidence to.
Well, and I think that this is going to be critical. I mean, it's interesting, like you look at commercial insurance, the great opportunity is because all this new technology that gets introduced for the other industries also presents great new risks and emergent risks and how to think about it. So which are great opportunities, obviously, for commercial insurance. So, the issue is you don't have the benefit of a large, homogeneous sort of historical set of information. So how do we, we're going to need to learn to apply these techniques as we think about more emergent risk classes and things that may have longer tail, implications. And how we can get better informed and better view of those things. I think that's a big part of it. But and the one thing I think if we sort of move on to the in the last but certainly not least aspect of this, and that is great insight generation and the like. But in all the talk about big data, right? And we always say it's big data, little data. It's just data. That's great, but it doesn't start with the data. It really starts with the decisions, and ultimately needs to end with actions.